we spoke earlier in the program with Michael Walzer about arguing cases from the left. And he mentioned 3 historical tasks that the left have to do. One of them is to protect the constitutional democracy, which means maybe making alliances with centrists and even people on the right. The other task, though, he said, was, like I say, to make arguments from the left. And particularly he was talking about Affordable Care Act. Here's Bernie Sanders giving a perfect example of this. He goes to the Senate floor with a blown-up tweet from Donald Trump from back in 2015, I believe it was, where he is, I was the first and only potential GOP candidate to ensure that there would be no cuts to Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid. Huckabee copied me.
It's true.
And here's Bernie Sanders, who blew up that tweet on the floor of the Senate.
These are the principles that Donald Trump ran and won the presidency on. On May 7th, 2015, Donald Trump tweeted, quote, "I was the first and only potential GOP candidate to state there will be no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid." End of quote. On April 8th, 2015, Mr. Trump said, and I quote, "Every Republican wants to do a big number on Social Security." That's not Bernie Sanders talking. That is Donald Trump talking. "They want to do it on Medicare. They want to do it on Medicaid, and we can't do it. It's not fair to the people that have been paying in for years." End of quote. Not Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, our soon-to-be president. On March 29th, 2016, Mr. Trump said, and I quote, "You know, Paul Ryan is the Republican Speaker of the House. You know, Paul wants to knock out Social Security, knock it down, way down. He wants to knock Medicare way down. And frankly, you're going to lose the election if you're going to do that. I am not going to cut it. And I'm not going to raise ages, and I'm not going to do all of the things they want to do. But they want to really cut it, and they want to cut it very substantially, the Republicans, and I'm going to do that." End of quote. What Mr. Trump said was exactly right. Here are the day. This is the day. They want to cut Social Security. They want to cut Medicare. They want to cut Medicaid. Mr. Trump was right, and millions of people voted for him on the belief that he would keep his word. Well, it seems to me that Mr. Trump right now has got to do one of 2 things. Number one, if all that he was talking about was campaign rhetoric, then what he was obliged to do now is to tell the American people I was lying. Yeah, I said that I would not support cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, but I was lying. It was a campaign ruse. I just said what came to my mind to get votes. I had no intention of keeping my word. And if that's what he believes, if that's what the case was, let him come forward and say that. But if that is not what the case is, if he was sincere, then I would hope that tomorrow or maybe today he could send out a tweet and tell his Republican colleagues to stop wasting their time and all of our time. And for Mr. Trump to tell the American people that he will veto any proposal that cuts Medicare, that cuts Medicaid, and that cuts Social Security.
Now, Michael thinks that Sanders asking him to send out a tweet is a subtle dig.
I'm sure it's literal too. I mean,
I
that's
don't
how
think
he
it is.
communicates.
I think it's Bernie saying, like, you can do this, Donald. Just shoot it out.
He's coaching him on.
He's egging him on. He's definitely challenging. I mean,
It's in my
this
drafts.
is
Wait a second.
like
Bernie said something important.
Sanders has been, it seems to me, increasingly, particularly since the election, frankly, savvy in the way he's going about these things. I mean, he did not show this type of savviness, I think, or just adroitness, even during the campaign.
No, I think, well, my sense is he learned and improved during the campaign, and then he kind of, went into surrogate mode, and now he's kind of fully reemerged.
Yes, I think now he's just no holds barred.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
he was holds barred even as a candidate.
Oh, definitely. He didn't want to damage Hillary that much. Absolutely. Wouldn't it be great, though, if he really goes with it? He's just like, and by the way, I heard, first of all, Paul Ryan, who is a loser and does not have a fraction of the net worth that Mr. Trump has.
Exactly.
Also, never has dated girls even remotely hot as Melania. I heard that he thinks he should run the legislative agenda, and I think he should get on Twitter and say,
I remember looking at Mr. Trump's huge, huge hands and thinking, why are his hands so large compared to my colleagues on the Republican aisle of the Senate?
and we disagree on many things, but you cannot contradict that his hands are truly perfectly
They're so
shaped.
huge.
And you know what they say, as above, so below. So I say in that spirit that he should get on Twitter and tell Paul Ryan and the other losers, pretenders,
Mr. Trump,
and sad
who I'm
messes
sure has no problems down there.
who has it together, believe me, should say, we're not cutting Medicare. He runs the show.
He's so rich.
He's so rich.
So
He's so
rich.
great. And by the way, real talk, low key, I'll trade a Russia hack for a Social Security expansion.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.